I think if we made it fourth at Worlds, I would be happy. I can't lie. The goal is obviously to win the whole damn thing,
Of course.
but there's like part of that's on my shoulders, like be reasonable, like you crazy person. But then there's like these glimpses of yeah, we could.
Hey there, Parks with the Shotcaller, joined by Steve, the owner, the man in front of Team Liquid. You guys just won again. Just right now, tell me how you're feeling.
It feels fantastic. I mean, I feel honored that we've been able to accomplish something so great. I feel accomplished that we set out to do something and achieved it. It always, sometimes it doesn't work out that way, as I've known for like 6 years, right? And so. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the team. I feel honored, but it's really about these guys. They played their hearts out. They are clearly the best team in North America, and that makes me feel really great. I'm a little nervous about Worlds, right? Because our performance at MSI wasn't as strong as I think everybody would have liked, but I think we've got a good amount of time to train. And we're going to set the guys up with every resource they could possibly imagine for Worlds. So that means Korean boot camp and all the staff and good food and our mental coach and myself, I'll be out there. And so we're going to go all in. We're going to see if we can kind of break this NA stigma. Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I really would love for you guys to break it as well. I think that this is a team and an organization that may have a really good chance to do that. You said that you're going to go all in. I think that's something that you and Team Liquid have always done. Even when you haven't been performing, in first place, 2 splits in a row, the last 6 years, I feel like Team Liquid was still always making sure that the necessary steps were taken. So I really appreciate that. I think you add a lot to the scene. Mm-hmm. So thank you, actually. So what then was it like, the past 6 years, day after day, just knowing that this would come? Like, what was it that kept you motivated and working so hard to finally get here?
I think the drive to win is ignited by a passion for this game. I have played video games all my life, but I think my world has really centered around League of Legends. It was when I first started playing in beta and moved off of Han, and of course I was just like casually playing, but I fell in love with this game. And when I knew I wasn't good enough and kicked myself off the team, being a player, I still love playing. So I think all of this is really around being the best at a game I love. And I think Riot has created something pretty amazing that didn't exist previously. I just remember growing up and it was like NBA Jam and Sonic the Hedgehog and then, competitive StarCraft, and, Blizzard really wasn't supporting the ecosystem in like a very robust way. So for Riot to come in and say, we're going to make this a sport, we're going to professionalize, we're going to stop outsourcing this to tournament organizers, we're going to bring this in-house and make a real league. That leadership to make that decision to kind of start the domino effect of what would happen, that created an opportunity for us to keep going. And yeah, it's drive. You can't just give up. Yes, you can be depressed a little bit after a loss, but you gather yourself, you figure out what went wrong, and you try again. And I just kept doing that year after year after year after year. And this year, it worked out. So fine-tuned my strategy. I'm just looking forward to the future. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
A lot of people are talking about how it's so cool that 100 Thieves in their first year are going to Worlds. I think it's so cool that you guys just kept with it for so long. So
yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So you mentioned the Korean boot camp earlier.
Yep.
And all the things that you're going to do for these guys. We have seen a number of teams, go forward, like TSM, always going forward for, more and more Korean boot camp and more preparation and changing mentality and stuff. But it hasn't worked out for them. Is there something that you feel like you can do or that the organization can do differently that other teams haven't done in the past to help these guys out? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Team Liquid as an organization is probably more accomplished in esports across the board than any other organization, I believe. And I think whether we're winning in PUBG or Dota or StarCraft or Smash Brothers, it's or even Fortnite now, I think there's one thread that continues through all, and that's that we provide impeccable support for the guys so that they can focus on the game. And I think we've also unlocked kind of a secret weapon, I guess, that other orgs aren't doing. And a lot of that has to do with, I think, the mindset of these athletes. You think back to like Michael Jordan, and he's obviously like strong guy, right? He's an athlete in terms of like running the field and the court, and like, but when he wins championships, he like accredits it to intelligence. And I think in gaming, intelligence is a huge thing. And how do you make really amazing decisions in game? And I think in League of Legends that matters so much, right? And whether they're individual decisions or they're team decisions, how do you hone that in? How do you really sharpen that skill set? And that's where I think we've really advanced further than other teams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I'm interested to talk more about how you feel like you guys do that. But we could talk about that another time. I want to go back and say, kind of re-mention something I said earlier. I do feel like Team Liquid has done a lot for the scene. I think when franchising happened, obviously that changed a lot, and you guys took that very seriously. You turned in a whole like phone book sized
took it seriously.
thing,
Yeah.
and you really proved that you wanted to be here, and you're in all these other esports as well. What is it about esports that, like, you mentioned some of this, but what is it that, like, why are you working so hard to just build the whole scene? I feel like it's not just for Team Liquid, it's for the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes back, for me personally anyway, I think it goes back to just being a gamer and growing up in a culture where gaming was not accepted, or at least there was some sort of like stigma associated with gaming. And whether it started with my parents saying, get off the freaking computer, like stop spending so much time doing that, or it was playing video games while I was in college and some of my friends thinking I was wasting my time, or thinking less of me because I was a gamer, and then to know that stigma has kind of like lived on, in so many of the minds, at least within the culture that's immediate to me, and to see that like break down a bit. And for the fascination of appreciation for athletes that play video games, that to me is like one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I've loved it for so long. I feel like there's been this stigma that's finally changing. To have some sort of impact on that personally is amazing, right? Whether it was, okay, we're going to be the first organization to build a training facility for athletes. We're going to be the first to import players internationally to League of Legends, or the first to hire like all this staff that is paralleled in other professional sports. I want to keep pushing that, because I'm of the belief that esports and gaming will be more watched than any other sport in the world. It's kind of interesting. Like this Christmas, I think there's going to be so many parents that their kids are going to be asking for V-Bucks instead of regular presents. And to me, that's just a complete mental shift in the culture, at least in America, that I can recognize. Like that's never happened before, where kids are asking for like in-game items, and I just think that is creating an entire generation of gamers. And like, what does that look like when they grow up and they start watching esports? Like that to me is just this ginormous like movement toward away from stick and ball sports to appreciation of esports. And so I think we're kind of at its infancy, and that's just so exciting for me.
I'm also having a blast. really quickly, you guys just played Cloud9. You did 3-0 them. Would you like to see them at Worlds, though, alongside you? I know you seem to have a really fun time memeing back and forth with Steve.
Or Jack.
Sorry, with Jack. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Steve. And, you know, they won other big thing. They won the CSGO major earlier. So I feel like you two guys are really competing a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Jack is a kind-hearted, smart, good businessman, and he's run a fantastic multi-team organization. I tip my hat to what he's accomplished, and you know, I do see him as a peer within the space that I love competing against, no matter what the esport. So yeah, I mean, I hope that the best third team from North America ends up qualifying, because what matters most is that we represent the region as competitively as possible. So I know there's been a lot of stuff about like, oh, 100 Thieves made it, auto-qualified. Are they really the best team? Well, hopefully they can. You know, they shined at some point. They have some time before Worlds. We have to give them some credit that they're going to invest into that, and they're going to come out strong. And then the third team, I think, if I were to say like who's probably toss up between Cloud9 and TSM. I think a lot of that depends on the mindset. And so I think I give it more to TSM, but it's close. I mean, we saw from that last series. So we're going to see that. We're going to see that TSM versus Cloud9 head-to-head again. And I'm excited to see if like one of those teams just says, we've stepped up, and just like 3-0s, you know? That will create confidence going into Worlds for me, for the third place seed. Yeah.
I like that. I was going to say I would like to see a fifth game just because it's so fun, but
yeah.
A 3-0 for the confidence, I can agree.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we go, you have broken the curse. You've gotten first twice now, but if you return to get fourth at Worlds, would that at least be satisfying?
I think if we made it fourth at Worlds, I would be happy. You know, I can't lie. The goal is obviously to win the whole damn thing, but there's like part of that's on my shoulders, like, be reasonable, like, you crazy person, you know? But then there's like these glimpses of, yeah, we could, you know? And then you kind of get like torn back and forth. You know, I've watched some of the replays with like Viper and Uzi and recently from their games this past weekend, and I'm like, wow, they're good, right? And yeah, I hope we win the whole thing. But yeah, if we end up getting fourth, like, fuck, that whole, I don't know, the curse will come back and all that shit. But it'll be a good side of the curse, I guess, if we place fourth.
Well, we will see. Thank you so much. Any last words to fans or anything else before we go?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So none of this would be possible without all of our fans supporting us and cheering for us. All the letters, all the emails, and all the messages on Facebook and Twitter. Like, we read them. We appreciate your support. And then also our partners, like, that support us and make this possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks again. We'll catch you next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. To see some more Shotcaller League of Legends content, you can find some videos off to the side, or like and subscribe. And also, please share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we will see you guys next time.